And I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
Yes, everybody, welcome to the warm down. Stephen Howson, joined by Mick Ferry today.
Yeah, I'm Mick Ferry.
Comedian.
Yes.
Philanthropist, maybe.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Bearded gentleman, at least.
New beard. It's a new beard.
United fan, yeah. Most of your stuff you've done on telly, you did sans beard, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, that means before beard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sans beard, right, okay, right. Sounds like a Spanish resort. Sounds good, sans beard.
What do you make of yesterday's game? This will be Monday, this goes out, so this weekend's game with Liverpool.
Oh, glad it was over. I was saying to you before, I can't relax when we play Liverpool. That's one of the fixtures. I just can't enjoy the day.
It's a cup final. It's the first one you look for.
Yeah.
And then it's City's worse for losing because there's more of them in the local area.
Yeah.
But losing against them, it feels like that's your goal in life, is to make sure you win that game, isn't
it? City's a worse for losing because all of a sudden I have friends on Facebook which I never knew were City fans. that tends to happen a lot. You just go, well, hang on, where have you? I've never even seen you talk about football. You never talked about that. All of a sudden,
till I die, mate.
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah.
Glory hunting since. Have you noticed that? Everyone who gives you some shit that's a City fan on Twitter, they'll have glory hunting since. Like they have to justify it.
Yeah.
Because you fucking wasn't.
I mean, I have got some mates who are genuine City fans. Do you know what? I can't knock. It's phenomenal the way City are playing at the minute. What Guardiola's doing, but I think there's some City fans just are not appreciating what they're seeing at the minute. In a pub where I drink, there's some old City heads going there, and one of them was genuinely moaning about, we had more fun when we were going to places like Macclesfield and all that, and you're just thinking...
That's some seriously roasted glasses, that, mate.
Yeah, exactly. You're a fucking idiot, mate. Enjoy what you've got, because this is a once in a lifetime. You're probably going to have this for 3-4 years, and then that's it. It's not going to...
Do you think... I don't want to get bogged down on City, because
I
want to talk about the Scousers, but do you think that he's not going to do 25 years there, is he?
Oh,
and they've been built up for him.
Oh,
so when he goes, and they go, now who?
Yeah, Tony Pulis.
Can now take it to that next level? And
well, nobody can they? That's it. It's going to. That's a problem. So unless they promote from within, I don't know. Maybe do like
Kiddo.
Oh God, yeah, bless him.
I love Kiddo. Do you know what? I really want to do like a bit of a mini documentary, because you can go from Buzzbit of Guardiola with Fergie in the middle.
Exactly, yeah.
What a timeline that is.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, from scoring on the 19th birthday in a European Cup final to...
It's not a bad one.
No, it's all right, isn't it? Yeah.
Might call it milk bottles or skickles or something.
Yeah, I don't.
If you don't get that joke, you don't know.
I don't think he's even got a job there, Ryan.
Professional Mancunian.
I think he just turns up. They just give him whatever area he's in. He just gets a tracksuit and gets a place on the bench.
So you think it's going to be a short, wild, uber successful ride for them, and then it's going to be trying and throwing dough at it like Chelsea do at the moment, trying to regain that?
You know, the only way I can see that, maybe they give somebody like Company a coaching role in a couple of years, and he ends up being
that terrifies me, because I've heard he leads the analysis sessions at City.
Oh, does he?
Which makes me think, one, that makes me jealous that they've got such a leader, because can you imagine Chris Smalling getting up and giving, here's what went wrong, son, and you're like,
Chris Smalling, you know what, he's good when the ball's in the air, he's going to attack it, but as soon as it's passed to him, he's like, no, he's like his appearance is, don't give me the fucking ball.
I think he copes really well. If he was playing against Lukaku, and I bet when he is playing against Lukaku in training he looks good. I bet he looks mint.
Yeah.
But you get someone a bit trickier up against him, and I would have said the likes of the Liverpool front three, see how I brought that round then?
Yeah.
He would have really struggled with, because they're a bit trickier. But I thought tactically yesterday.
I thought he was fantastic yesterday, and I think he works better because he's not a natural hard man as a centre half. He's not as good as Rio, but he's more in that mould. Rio had Vidic alongside him for quite a few years, which, I mean, Vidic just took all the blows to the face. And
I think Bay is really took on that Vidic mentality.
I think Bay is
that job.
He's a hard man, and I think Smalling with a run alongside Bayer, I think that could be good.
I think Lindelof could be that guy, because I think Lindelof defensively lacks, but he's mustard on the ball.
He's fantastic on the ball. Well, watching him play though, positionally, I don't know whether he's been tried as a defensive midfield player.
Yeah, there's a few of that. I just wonder, because I don't see Smalling as that leader, can somebody like a Lindelof thrive when they are alongside a leader? Stay, go, watch it, go left, go right, he's your man. Joe, someone who's almost controlling him a little bit.
Yeah, sort of know what you mean. I don't know. Lindelof, it's a tough league to come into, isn't it? From where he's come from, I mean, from Portuguese football as well, and then, but he was immense. Did you see the Sweden game at Italy when they were?
No, but I saw a lot of people raving about it.
They defended about for their lives, and he was absolutely immense in that. So the potential's there. I agree with you. It's just, I think positionally sometimes you're just caught a bit unawares. I think mainly by the pace of the game. I think that's.
Yeah. Do you know what's interesting is I've been doing a lot of watching of the 68 Cup final, and actually this is the first one that we're doing in our new gaff, which is probably a little echoey. I'm going to try and fix that. But Mick's the first guest in here.
Yeah, I'm the first guest, yeah. I used to live in here.
In here?
Yeah.
Just around there?
Yeah, homeless, that's when I was, yeah. No, it's not. It does look like you've kicked homeless people out though.
It does. At the moment,
just for your own career.
It's not pretty, at the minute, but it'll get there. But by the World Cup we're aiming, it's going to look good.
At least Gary Neville lets homeless people stay in his gaff while he's rebuilding.
But we've called it 68 on the back of Studio 68, the 68 Cup win. I think it's a massive thing in United's history that's not made enough of. But you watch that game and you see how often George Best picks the ball up and walks with it for about a minute and a half, and you just think you couldn't do that now. There's no way you're doing that now, especially George Best.
And Aston was great as well in that game. He was fantastic wing performance for him. What is shocking about that game is the challenges that are going in from both sides.
Well, we had Nobby Styles. I'm
yeah,
sure
we did. I know.
Shortage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you see some of the challenges, you just think, what? And they always moan about, you watch any old games from the 60s, they always moan and go, it's a modern day phenomenon surrounding the referee, lack of respect. Watch them in that game. They were around the referee constantly all the time, badgering him. So, yeah. What always strikes me that is footage from that when I've seen it is like a weird, because I was born in 68, I was born in September of 68. It's that weird chant, it's not United, it's United, it's longer. Have you not heard it on the thing?
No, I've never noticed
it's very bizarre, you just think, okay, no.
But there's obviously, we've gone through, and this is something that I really want to explore. There's been so many different cultures, and I think the culture that precedes another culture hates the fuck out of the culture that comes next. That's just natural.
Of course it does, yeah.
So there must have been a point with the butcher's coats in the 70s, that the culture that came before that was like, look at these fucking idiots in butcher's coats.
Yeah.
And there must have been a time at some point where the guys with the pipes and the hat you're wearing, when all the dickheads turned up with them clackers, who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah.
That's like them things that you bang together at baseball and stuff, innit? But every single one of them cultures, when the ones that were the flares and which is probably your era, I'm guessing, with the
70s when I was a little kid, they used to watch that, and you used to have scarves wrapped around your wrist as well. But it was it was a weird thing when I was a kid. So I went to my first game in '72. I was like 4 years of age, and I think it was Leeds. I think it was near Christmas. I think it was 1-1. I had no idea what was going on. It was freezing, and then went the odd time. Then from about the age of 8, I used to go then every home game with my dad, and that was weird. I used to just get on a couple of buses and then go and meet my dad because he was working, and go and meet my dad at the ground. That's what kids did then.
It's mental, isn't it?
I
think you probably get locked up for that.
Never paid in. What used to happen is you'd be on the, because we used to always stand in the Stretford paddock, and you just used to. Your dad would paint the turnstiles, and you'd be just tucked into him, like hanging onto his leg. He'd walk through it. So whenever they came out with official figures, like there was so many thousand, you could always add about another 10,000 on top of it.
Just feral kids.
Yeah, exactly. And you go and sit by the when the fences came, and you sit by the fences because that's where the guy with the crisp and the orange juice was walking up and down. So you'd buy that, and then. But one thing that really annoys me at matches now, I think the problem is because you see football, it's everywhere. You'll see a game on TV and you'll see like an amazing footballer going taking a corner, and some kid will be there giving him the thing and going, fuck off, fuck you. And you go, why are you doing that? Why is your dad not giving you a slap? Have a bit of respect for who the player is. I think it's because they see them all the time now. So when I used to go to, I remember particularly like the early 80s.
What's worse, that? I used to get excited. Them off or filming them?
Yeah, filming. That's what does my head in. You're watching the fucking game, what are you doing filming it? But
what's worse? Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I used to so I'd get excited. Glenn Hoddle was coming into town. I'd get to see him. I get to see players like Trevor Brooking, and I used to go, and you'd applaud him as he came over.
I think that's the special factor. I think the special factor of 1 international football and 2 European football, we sort of just talked about that a second ago, has rubbed off a little bit, because when you pay pesky Monkas or someone mental comes to you, you have no idea who they are, you have no idea who plays for them, you don't know what style. Nowadays, everybody knows. You're going to be standing there and be like, oh, these play 3 at the back, we've got a number 4, you really need to watch out. You know everything about them, there's no mystique.
Yeah, exactly.
Legia Warsaw come and you're like...
Yeah.
They feel foreign. Everyone's got a name you've got to go
to
sort of pronounce.
The
globalisation of the game has took a little bit of that mystique away, innit?
Yes, it has. Like you said, I mean, when you see, it's interesting when you see coaches turn up over games on scouting mission. You go, really? Do you still have to do that this day and age? You just watch it on the telly.
Yeah. You're getting every angle. I do wonder why there is the need for journalists to be sat when you're going to write a match report on the game, and scouts to be in there. I know you see a little bit more. Scouts I kind of agree with, but for the manager, I think the manager is going to get the general shape of what they're doing. And I think if you're scouting one player, the telly's not going to follow that one player, so it makes sense for me in that sense.
Yeah, fair enough.
But journalists, managers, like I have a little deal with a company called Instat,
right,
which makes all the football data. So when you see pass maps and all the data that comes out of a football,
that's how they buy players though now, isn't it? They buy numbers on the numbers.
There's literally people that you can choose when you sign up. You can turn like journalist or agent or manager. You say which profile you are. I'm a dickhead on YouTube, so there wasn't a category for that, so I had to speak to them. But they give me the data and I get access to that data. And when I'm doing my match reviews, I use all the stuff that they send me and show me and stuff.
Right.
And I can click on a player's name and I can see every action that player did in the game.
Right.
Good and bad. And I can see it broken down by forward passes, backward passes, sideways passes, passes that didn't make it, passes that did make it, passes that created a chance. It's all in there. It's just one click away, and you just think, we can technically do that for a team in Mozambique at the moment. That mystique of the game has just filtered away a little.
You know what I'd love to do all that stats on is a good old fashioned Sunday league game.
That's a good idea.
When everybody's hungover.
Well, one of the reasons I've been watching the 68 game is that I'm working with Instat to produce this data for that match, because I'm going to do a bit of a special on the anniversary this year of that match and give you the match in that sort of data that you don't see. You pass maps, where was the average position, where was George Best picking the ball up and all that. No one's done it, so I thought I want to do that.
Somebody did that in the '66 World Cup final. Did you see it? It's phenomenal. You want to see Bobby Moore's touch map where it's frightening. I think he was actually did touch physically every blade of grass on the pitch.
See, so I think it's going to be an interesting thing to go back and do that and see what a modern eye of an old game was.
Exactly.
But that could be fun. That let us know in the comments again if you think we should go and do that.
Yeah, do a Sunday league game.
We'll go and film a Sunday league game and then put it through the system. And that could be fun. That. Yeah,
and I'll tell you what would be fun, and also it's quite frightening. Can you imagine if you do this stats on the 68 final, and then you come back and you go, Bobby Charlton was shit.
I watched the game. I've said this on here a few times, but I phoned my dad up actually and said George Best was shit, and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I said, "They've just passed to him. It's about 20 minutes in the game. If you've gotten to the 90 minutes, which I think is on YouTube somewhere, about 20 minutes into the game, they passed to George Best, who's at like left back almost.
Right, yeah.
And there's no one in shot, and he just kicks it out for a throw-in, and you're like, George Best." Pele good, Maradona better, George Best. Are you fucking kidding me?
Was he spread betting? Was he? They didn't have bets on throw-ins then, did they?
It makes the play, when you've watched the pace of a game, we've just watched Old Firm, and then you watch the pace of the 68 European Cup final. It is such a walking pace. That's going to be an interesting one if they're able to track the runs of players and say that there was one sprint in a game off him and he did about half a mile in total. Players are doing 7-8 mile in a minute,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, which is phenomenal. I wonder what one of my favourite players to watch in the last 20 years was Pirlo, and I wonder what. I don't think he probably covered about a mile in a match.
Did you see one of his last games for New York? He's standing on the front post at a corner, and it goes in behind him, and the ball comes in from the way he's facing. It comes in. And there's like a kerfuffle behind him, and he can barely be asked to even turn his head. And the ball goes in behind him, and he just turns back around again. And you just think, I fucking love you. I absolutely love you. He could play the game, couldn't he?
He was one of them rare players that he played the game at his own pace, which been trying to
reading a book.
Well, yeah, I've been trying to say this, and I think this is what Pogba's suffering from slightly now at the minute. When he's picking the ball up, he's trying to play the game at his own pace, but he's not. There's something phenomenal about players like Pirlo, Zidane, Scholes even. They always seem to be within 20 yards of space. They always...
Yeah, you're like, how's no one man marking?
Yeah, but it's just a reading and understanding of the game, and when you can find that much space constantly, you can then dictate the pace of a game, and that's what players like that did then. If you... And it was easy, so don't allow them the space, but they did. They always did. You just go.
Well, Scholes would. The thing that if I had to be a quintessential Scholes, it'd be like the trademarks of his game. One's that switch ball over the top out to the wing. The other thing is allowing the ball to run instead of taking a touch.
Exactly. Yeah.
His touch would be a directional touch to put him in that space, which is what I don't think a lot of people really picked up on. But that. Sort of, he almost dummy like he's going to go this way.
That's right.
And then he'd allow it to run, and he'd take a touch over here. And he's in 5 yard of space.
Exactly. Yeah, you've taken away. Yeah,
he was
exactly.
phenomenal at that because he wasn't quick like Pirlo. He wasn't. So how are these slow, physically not spectacular like a Pogba? Because Pogba and Zidane are pretty spectacular physical specimens, but Pirlo and Scholes definitely wasn't.
No, they weren't. No.
But they've just got days on the ball, and you're just like, how's no one closing you?
It's up there, 10 yards up there. It's like
Cantona was the same.
Cantona was the same. And I tell you what, and quite the credit when he came to the club, Sheringham, because everybody thought he was replacing Cantona, and he wasn't. But he was one of the most cleverest forwards I'd seen Sheringham. He saw the game different. So the great snooker players like...
Is he still playing now, actually? Terry Shane.
Terry Shane, he probably is. He's
probably pulling a shirt on for someone.
Probably is, yeah. But like great snooker players, Alex Higgins and Ronnie O'Sullivan, they see the game. They're about 12 shots ahead before...
Which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just like, don't fucking...
Exactly, yeah. I put a red and go, whoo, I've got to pick a colour. And I think some footballers see games like that. I think some footballers just... rather than that initial pass just to keep the ball, I think they see the bigger picture, and I think they do, and I think it's just I don't think it's something you can coach. I think it's something that's born,
What difference do you reckon Pogba would have made if he was available this weekend?
Do you believe he's injured?
I know some things.
I just didn't believe Mourinho when he said that. I'm not going to ask you to speculate just in case you're spreading rumours. But
those on my Patreon group kind of know the answer. If you want to know the Patreon group, hit the link below. But essentially, the full story wasn't the full story the other week in the FA Cup.
Right. Okay.
I don't know about this weekend, no.
Right. Okay.
So that's the top and bottom of it. But I mean, the relationship didn't look bad when he went and congratulated him. Well, he was being interviewed yesterday.
No.
I imagine you're not seeking him out like that.
Yeah. I like Pogba, but it's finding I don't think we should be talking about finding a position for himself. I think he's good enough to boss a game wherever he's playing. I think he's got that in him.
But as we were saying earlier, Veron, Keane, Scholes, true. They didn't work as a free, but on paper, it's the greatest midfield ever assembled. Yeah, but on the net, you'd think. I know exactly what you're saying. But also, by the same rule, Marcus Rashford comes into this team, Jesse Lingard comes into this team, Scott McTominay comes into this team. They have a job, they do their job, they look spectacular doing it.
McTominay looks, what an old head on him yesterday. He just that
kept it so simple.
Yeah, but that bit. You know what he reminds me of very much like I think it's his gates, the way he runs, the way he controls the ball. It reminds me of Carrick quite a bit. But he was this ability to see when challenges were coming, take the free kick.
I think there's a Darren Fletcherness about him.
Yeah, but he's a fantastic passer of the ball. He sees the pass, but he also saw that yesterday when to slow the game down, keep hold of the ball.
I'm not going to say dive, but there's a time when you
take a challenge.
Yeah, you take the slide.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get the foul and you slow the game down. Yeah, there was a lot of intelligence in the things he was doing on and off the ball yesterday.
He's fantastic going forward. I mean, Mourinho actually said we need to get that back in his game, his goal scoring, because his pre-season. I don't think you saw him at any.
Although he controlled it on the turn on his chest.
Youth level. He's got. You don't see it in the game anymore because I don't think managers allow it. But he's potentially a box-to-box midfield player.
We played him and Matty Willock in the 23s quite a lot as either a false 9 or as a bit of a target man, number 10. And I don't think it suited Scott to be that far forward and playing with his back to goal.
No.
I think it really rounded out Matty Willock's game. When he came back into midfield, he was taking way more risk.
Yeah.
But Scott didn't really get the chance to come back into midfield. The recent teams we've had in the 23s have been dire, hence the near enough bottom of the league. But the teams would have 6 defenders and 4 midfielders in, and no strikers, no wingers, or nothing. They was playing shit football. So it's impressive that someone like that, because I'd probably still put him underneath Goss, underneath Willock. And I think he's probably the third best of them midfielders that we've just had coming through. But he's the one that's.
But then yesterday he's
but he did the same against Chelsea.
Did the same against Chelsea.
You've got to just go, fucking hell, fair play. And fair play to Mourinho, who's never had a reputation for this.
No.
There you go, as a young lad with like 10 games experience. Let's play you against Chelsea, let's play you against Liverpool.
Exactly. But that's the kind of thing where I think you find out a lot about a young player as well, particularly one who's come through the ranks. There you go, here's our biggest rivals. So
deal with that.
Deal with it, see what you can do. Dealt with, done. Right, okay, well, not much to worry about the kid now. He's going to... And I think the reason why Mourinho likes him, he likes players who does what he tells them. It's quite clear that. So probably seen things in training in the squad where he's gone, this kid's, he listens to me.
If you look at the things he did with the ball, off the ball, and his movement and stuff like that, and then when we brought Fellaini on, he just felt like a walking accident yesterday. He
did, but I have to give him credit. He did sort of quell a bit of the pressure from. I've got a friend who calls him the chaos theory, which is anything can happen when he comes on a pitch. You've no idea what's going to go.
That's why he's good in the opposition box.
And
when he comes in, you get out.
Exactly.
No, go away.
But he was good. He was an outlet yesterday, and his hold-up play was fantastic. And sort of have to give him credit. He sort of eased a bit of the pressure when he came, and I think it was a good substitution.
I wanted Carrick for that reason. I thought Carrick, bit of leadership, bit of maturity, bit of just
calm it down. Exactly, yeah.
And then he brings Fellaini on. Well, as soon as I saw him on the team sheet, I said he might as well warm up now. He's coming on. He's absolutely nailed on for coming on, isn't he? But I think, what's your thoughts on the Mourinho regime at the moment?
Well, it seems to be a bit of a civil war with United fans at the minute, because there's those who are for him and those who are against. Listen, there's no doubt in his abilities as a manager, no doubt. And some people are saying that I'm a dreamer, so you can't play entertaining football all the time and so on. You can, and sometimes you have to be pragmatic, sometimes you have to take a cautious approach to a game, which is understandable. You don't want to be out of a tie before, particularly in Europe.
That's the argument against what the likes of Klopp and Pochettino are doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Klopp. I think somebody in German football about 5 years ago said he looked like an aerobics instructor at the side of the pitch. Which next time you watch him, that's what he looks like. He's taking an aerobics class. Yeah, I understand, but some of the. We went to Anfield early in the season, and people say it was a great point, but we played for a draw.
I'm not sure we did. I think the result was that we got a draw. If you listen to what Jose says afterwards, and he might be chatting shit, but if you look at the substitutions he made versus the ones that Klopp made, he said he was waiting for Klopp to make an attacking sub, and we was going to go and try and nick a goal. And you go, it didn't pay off. I think it is a good point. Especially when with hindsight, you go, didn't lose there, beat them at home.
Yeah.
Taking that all day long.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
don't take that at Huddersfield. Don't take that at Brighton. Don't take that at Newcastle.
I know, yeah.
Those are teams that home and away were supposed to be.
The performance at Newcastle was,
mind-blowing.
Shocking. I think the performance at home against City as well was, I think like what Mourinho did there. He had two holding midfield players sat right on the top of his back four, which basically, it more or less said to City, you can play right up to our 30-yard line, and you can have all that space.
Rashford scored again, didn't he?
He did score again, yeah, exactly. And
biggest of the games, he always turns up.
On scraps, he was getting scraps, and I felt sorry for Lukaku that game. Scraps, you're talking... I think Lukaku's wisened up a little bit, actually. I think his game's improved, because we have to be honest, he's not going to get a lot of chances the way this United team is set up. and he turned into a bit of a bully yesterday. And I think the signs of him, I think he can be that. He could be like Drogba, who I couldn't stand, but he was unplayable. He just.
What I didn't like him was how he dived, because you're like, mate, you're Mathis. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. He used to do that, and he get involved in silly little arguments. Hence, like the 2008 Champions League final, what he does to Vidic, which was did you give
him a slap?
He gave him a slap. Yeah.
Oh, it was a slap.
Which I liked. Which I loved about Vidic as well, being the hard man he is. He didn't go down. He sort of like looked to the ref and went, "Come on, send him off." Like, yeah, there's no rolling around on the floor. Tactics wise, Mourinho. I don't know. I always think I'm waiting. I think there's a drama around the corner with him. Mourinho's past form. I'm waiting for the drama, and I'm waiting for somebody's not to his liking. And he's going to storm out on something. I'm just.
Well, he managed to. I thought the Rooney thing could have gone into a mega drama, but he managed that quite sensibly. I thought there was a big furore when he dropped in for the derby in September last season, and then he sort of ghosted him out of the team, and it was very minimal sort of fuss. The Zlatan stuff could have been handled with a bit of drama. All this Pogba stuff lately could have been. I think you're right. That train's coming. I just don't know what time it's coming. And the end's coming with Mourinho. Even if he stays here longer than he's ever been anywhere else, he ain't retiring here.
God, no.
He's not doing a legacy.
No, he's not. He's not one of them. He's not gonna. Yeah.
I'll show my house if he does.
And I think. I mean, it's the stat's true, isn't it? For 80 years, every United starting lineup's had a homegrown
since October, either 37 or 38.
Yeah, and
I thought that'd go.
I thought that'd go, but I think he's been made acutely aware of that. That's
you can't get that back, can you? There's a lot of things you can overturn in a couple of years, but
you can't redo. I mean, it's an amazing stat. It's an amazing. And he's mentioned it recently in an interview, because I think he's been made aware of it. I think maybe somebody behind the scenes has gone, listen, you can fuck off in a couple of years, but don't fuck this up. Don't.
I think the fact that Pogba classes as one mega helps.
Oh God, yeah, it does, yeah. Gee.
Which is the most Mourinho thing ever, is a £90 million player that is eligible as an academy player.
Yeah.
But he's played Rashford in virtually every game, and there's been no external demand, I don't think, for that to happen.
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard, he's brought in and he's given him the opportunity and he's given him the place. And out of nowhere, Scott McTominay, I think people see his name on a team sheet going forward. There's not going to be any question marks there.
No, not at all. I'm worried about his handling of Martial. I like Martial. I think he's potentially a player. If we let go, he could go to somewhere like Madrid or Barca, and win the Ballon d'Or in a couple of years' time. I think he's capable, and I think he's just one of them lads who probably does need an arm around the shoulder. I don't think criticism suits him. I don't.
Correct, yeah.
I think
that's where Fergie was the master. He probably had a million different approaches for every single player that he had. This guy, he needs bollocking and headbutting. This guy needs a cuddle. Make this one a brew and give him a custard cream. I think he had all of that in his locker, Fergie.
Yeah, I think Martial would absolutely flourish under him. And you're going to understand as well the way Martial, right, defensively, it's not the best side of his game. He's trying to improve it. He's going to make the odd mistake, but I think...
But him and Sanchez are similar, aren't they? And I think that's one of the issues we've got now. Because you've got Marcus Rashford, he comes in and he offers you what he offers you.
Yeah.
Martial offers you what he offers you. Sanchez offers you what he offers you. The problem is, them three fuckers play the same position. Now
we do. They do. You know what, Sanchez is... I think the game passed him by a little bit yesterday. I think it just... it's a completely different experience for him. I think it was...
He was bullied off the ball a little bit. I thought he needed to be tougher.
He gives the ball away a lot as well, which I was amazed at lately.
That's only a stat I've ever seen since United signed him.
Really?
Yeah, but I get it. Yeah, I think one, he could be stronger. That'd help. But I also think that he's trying things in the final third. If he's in Matic or McTominay's position and giving it away that much,
fine. No. That's fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
to make things happen, I think you've got to take risks.
He's popping up in areas which are not his position on the pitch, which is fine. I think he's one of these.
Is that a confidence thing then?
I think he's. I think what he's trying to. He's clearly trying to get into a game. He's clearly trying to have an impact on the game, which is nothing wrong with that at all. But it can be a nuisance, particularly in when you're attacking and you go, mate, you're not meant to be here. You're not meant to be. You're meant to be an outlet at this. We've worked on this in training, and I think there's an element. There's no doubt in his quality, and I think he's going to be fantastic. I genuinely think he's going to be fantastic. signing for us. He'll settle in, and I think he'll be a good signing for us. At the minute, I think because he's trying a bit too hard. It's the headless chicken thing at the minute,
and him and Pogba, going back to like the average touches and players, him and Pogba are on top of each other.
Yeah,
and I think that's an issue.
Yeah, that sort of was an issue when Mkhitaryan played as well, because I remember a couple of games just before he went when he was playing with Mata, and he kept coming inside into Mata's position. You could see Mata on the pitch looking at him going.
Mata's one of the most underappreciated players as well, isn't he?
I was so pleased when he started yesterday. We are such a better team when he starts. A much better team when he starts.
But when he starts, there's a lack of imbalance. Would you like to see him played directly in the role Sanchez was, right off Lukaku, and have an actual winger on the right? Because I think I want to see Marcus Rashford tried on the right hand side, because he's right-footed. He's got a cross on him. He can play inside on his left if he has to. Yeah, he has, but I think his natural position is through the middle, mate. Rashford.
Yeah.
Oh, undoubtedly. But at the moment, you look at our team, I definitely think there's a lack of balance on that right-hand side. And Mata always comes in if you play Sanchez there. He's coming in.
Yeah.
I just want someone to hold the width a little.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I would prefer Mata more centrally, just off the front, because he's a cute player. He's
never getting round the outside.
No, he's not. He's a cute player.
Getting round the outside of me and you. I don't think he's
getting
exactly, round the outside of my Premier League fullbacks.
He sees a pass, doesn't he? He's a player who's ahead of the game, and I always think we're a better team when he starts for us. I always think we're. So I was pleased that he played yesterday.
That volley goes in.
Oh God!
Are you fucking kidding me? Triggered Liverpool fans having flashbacks.
Yeah, exactly. He saw Anfield in his head, I think, because when he looks at that, because he could have chested that down and just tucked it in.
I got time for people who want to do ridiculous.
Oh no, I don't mind that. Shit. I don't mind that. It would have been amazing if it had gone in. But he only just hits it as well. The keeper would have been stranded and stunning. But the many times he does that, he scored a couple of offside goals for us, but he seems to have this ability to find a lot of space in a box, which I think it's because of his height.
Yeah,
I genuinely think it's because of his height. I think sometimes he just walks through defenders and they ignore him. They just go, "What's he going to do?" Yeah.
We got Champions League coming up this week, which we've now almost got a little bit of breathing room, depending on the Spurs result this weekend. We've got a little bit of breathing room where we could. I don't want to see us go and lose a game, but we could almost rotate for a Premier League game now with the space that we've given ourselves, if we need to. Shouldn't need to this weekend.
Yeah.
This week with Sevilla. But we beat Sevilla. We're in the quarterfinals, which I thought was the minimum expectation for us this year, was quarterfinals. I think semi-finals was probably too much for us to expect this year. So I think if we beat Sevilla this week, we've achieved what we needed to do in the Champions League.
Yeah, I personally think Sevilla were there for the taking at the.
Oh, it was an awful game.
It was such a hard watch, and I worry about that now because their away record's not good in Europe, Sevilla, but
one goal is a problem.
Yeah, exactly. It's a massive problem. But this is the European competition where I wouldn't be surprised semi-finals at least because of Mourinho.
Yeah.
Because of his.
Well, if we draw
because
Liverpool,
of his tactics.
On the aggregate of the games we played this year, we beat them. If we'd have drawn Spurs, if they'd have managed to get through, I fancied us over 2 legs.
But you know what? It's going to be Real Madrid, isn't it?
For the story. I mean, there's a couple of teams that I would fancy us against, but there's a couple of teams where you go, oh, we're not ready for them. Do you know who I'm not ready for? City.
Oh God, no.
I think Mourinho's got his number. Sorry, Guardiola's got his number.
Yeah, I think no, exactly. I agree with you 100%. God, that'd be a nightmare.
I think virtually every other team, and I include the Munichs and the Madrids, I think Mourinho can find a way over 2 legs. And it'll be a shithouse way, but we can find a way over 2 legs. I think over 2 legs against City, I think Guardiola's just got the fucking hoodoo on him. I think he's just got...
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic example of what Mourinho was like in Europe. That Spurs, if he was in charge of Spurs last week, 1-0 up at home, second leg.
Oh, they're going through.
They're going through. They've gone through. That would have been it. There'd have been none of this defenders pushing up to the halfway line, and there'd been none of that behaviour going on. You know that for a fact.
They might have pushed up to the penalty spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that would have been it. It would have been. That would not have been tolerated.
No.
And I sort of felt sorry for a bit for Spurs because people said, right, Juve are an old and they're a massively the experienced team. But I think it was naivety. It was just Spurs' naivety was.
And that's the criticism the likes of Klopp and Pochettino get, where they're playing this amazing style, and it is pretty attractive, and they do rack up the goals when they start scoring the goals. But when it comes to the biggest of big games, you'd rather have a dirty old bastard like Jose Mourinho in your corner with some tricks and some fuckery, than this fresh little shiny thing.
Or you'd rather have or a Guardiola who just puts a team out and goes, "We don't care who we're playing, we can beat you."
I'd love to do that. I'm never going to give him credit though.
No, I agree with you. I you know what? I would take Klopp and Liverpool seriously as potential title contenders if Klopp ever came up with a plan B. He's got this stubbornness where he keeps his style going, and there are games when it's just not working for him. I've seen games against Burnley and so on, and he just carries on playing it. And I always think if ever he came up with a plan B where he did something different, which then could win a game for them, that's when I think, oh shit, I think the penny's dropped with him now. I think now you've got to take him. They could be serious title contenders now.
If we did manage, let's say we get one of the easier teams. I can't remember the full potential opponents off the top of my head. Let's say we managed to get through. I mean, if we draw one of the other English teams, it's going to be chaos for starters, isn't it? I mean, Jesus Christ. Although I'm not sure Chelsea are going to overturn Barcelona. I think that's a big ask for them.
I think they're a weird side on the continent, aren't they? They're a weird side at the minute. There's been a couple of performances where you think there's clearly players controlling that club. I don't think managers are in control of that club.
Or Roman plays it like Football Manager, and he comes in, he's like, "Oh, we're picking this team today."
Yeah, maybe, possibly. It's a bizarre. There's been some bizarre performances from them this year.
It's a bizarre club. I think when you get a billionaire oligarch like that in that just does his own thing, and no one ever has told him no, or to get allegedly buried in concrete somewhere.
It's. I mean, I've been critical of Mourinho for some of the performances this year, but at Chelsea, at City, that was. I don't know.
That was awful.
That was beyond awful.
It was ridiculous. They were just standing still.
It was. I don't know what they were playing for, what they were trying to achieve. There was still a chance of getting back into the game, which
1-0.
Yeah, exactly. And then. We have to be honest as well. We came back and beat them at Old Trafford, but halfway through the second half, they clearly all of a sudden started playing for a draw. Chelsea, and that's come. I think that's come from the bench. I think it must have done.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but I can't ever imagine. I don't think Mourinho does it either. I know he gets told that. I think even the shit performances we've had when we've gone to the Etihad, when we played City at home, I think he's gone, here's the plan to win the game. And it's just not happened. The players haven't performed, we've missed the chances we got, X, Y, Z. But I actually do think that there's some managers that have gone, we'll stay for the draw. I don't think Mourinho's ever done it. I think he's too egotistical to...
Yes, I'd agree with you. And but then, this is why I wouldn't discount Chelsea at Barcelona, because they are capable of turning up and
that starting 11's there's a lot of players in that 11 that I think would do wonders at every club. I think if I could steal one player, someone asked me this last week actually, who would you sign in world football at the moment? And you think, oh, we'll get a Messi, or you get a Ronaldo, or you get a Lewandowski or something. I was like, no, I actually really like Alonso at Chelsea, because we really need a left back.
Fantastic player, good player, really good player. I like Willian. I think he's fantastic.
Willian would make a noticeable difference.
Massive difference.
Instantly.
Hazard, I would love him, but...
I think we've got him in Sanchez. I think we've got the exact same...
Yes, I think Hazard's a better player than Sanchez. But I think the problem is with Hazard is playing him up as a false nine. What is that? What are you doing? That's a waste of a player. You're wasting a player.
We call Klopp and Poch tactically naive. I think that's Conte being tactically overcomplicated at times.
Sometimes, yeah.
Because tactically he's very good. He was very good with Italy. He was very good with Juve, and he's been very good at Chelsea. But it's not quite.
He scored at Old Trafford, the '99 first leg semi-final.
I remember bald Conte.
Bald, you remember? Yeah, I remember when he turned up with the hair. You're going, where the fuck's this come from? Yeah,
he fixes.
Apparently, Klopp's had a hair transplant as well.
Has he? Is that because he's pulled it out on the touchline?
Well, it's sort of banging his chest all the time, isn't it? It's just falling out. But
it's mad the press narrative that you get in between all the managers.
Yeah.
I noticed this when Mourinho came. He was the shiny thing that could do no wrong.
Yes.
Even though he did some banger shit, and he probably still does some banger shit. But the press, don't worry about it. Whereas now he's the old guard now. They hammer him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they hammer the likes of Allardyce and Moyes, and their new shiny things in Klopp and Poch, and especially in Guardiola.
When Mourinho came though into the English game, that was it wasn't a kick up the arse, but that was like a spur for Fergie. It was not like he'd run out of challenges. It was not like I think he was on the verge of thinking about his retirement then and not rebuilding another side. And then the fact that Chelsea won them 2 titles, and
I didn't think that Chelsea team was ever going to lose.
No, but it was, and then we probably.
But do you know, if you look at our starting 11 that year, and you see the likes of Tim Howard, Sylvester, Alan Smith, Jemba, Kleberson, and you're like, no fucking wonder they won the title when they had a team with, Carvalho and Lampard and Drogba and even Damien Duff and all them lot.
But they exactly
Robin and
Robin,
it was
and
a hell of a team.
it was a hell of a side, and I think there was a spur for Fergie quite clearly, because then you look at probably his most successful spell is in charge of United. He didn't win an FA Cup, but I mean, 4 titles, 5 years, 3 Champions League finals in 4 years. He went out and bought Carrick, phenomenal player for us. Then Ronaldo came through. We got hold of Rooney. All of a sudden, the team, like you said, from what we had,
the transformation
was unreal. And I think
Rio was a constant, but I think adding the likes of Van der Sar made it.
Yeah.
Ever and Vidic, once they'd settled, you saw what they brought. Even astute signings like Owen Hargreaves for the short time he was there made a fantastic
difference.
Tevez, there was little jigsaw pieces that you didn't really think was going to be a massive deal at the time. Like Tevez was like, okay, cool. Carrick was like, okay, cool. But once they started clicking together, I mean, for you, is that the best United side you've seen?
Oh no. Right, for entertainment level, since I've been watching United as a kid, my favourite ever United player is Brian Robson. He's a god to me.
I was going to say, I bet you're going to say 85.
No, but my favourite United side is at 93-94.
Okay.
Fast, explosive, hard as nails. Fucking hard team. I mean, it was the first time I'd seen a United side where you couldn't kick them off a pitch. They'd fucking batter you. And we had this ability in that particularly that 2-year period where we wouldn't be in control of game. We used to have these like 15-20 minute spells in games where teams just couldn't live with you. They just couldn't fucking live with us.
When that team was on, it was one touch, it was fast flowing, it was down the wings.
Unreal. Exactly.
That's what people went to go, we need to play the United way. That and the 99 side was the United way.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
We didn't play that in the noughties. We played nothing like that in the noughties.
Nothing at all, no. Well, this shows the ability like Fergie had at the time. He was always a forward thinker. Getting in like Carlos Queiroz, these kind of coaches, and Rennie Mullenstein as well. Different ways of playing, find different ways of winning.
Do you think that's the difference? Because Fergie was secure at United. He could always bring in something refreshed, whereas I think Mourinho travels with the same circus everywhere he goes. Because he's never been secure, that's his security, is the same guys around him. Yeah,
it was, but then the pressure, I remember clearly the pressure Fergie was under when he first went there, and he was his own man. He brought in his own coach. He's probably the best thing. There's probably been a lot of bad things written about Fergie. There's probably things we'll never know of what have gone on behind the scenes. But
I'm sure.
He's
like a mafia boss.
Yeah, exactly. But he wasn't afraid of delegating. He wasn't afraid of. He put faith in people. People he knew were better coaches than him. He would have them, which is
Kiddo again.
Yeah, exactly. Which takes some doing as a because there's an ego thing. A manager at the top level, there has to be. You can't be.
And the amount of pies he had to have fingers in
exactly.
as well.
You can't be soft. You cannot be soft. None of these top flight, they're not soft. They can't be because they found out too quickly. So you got that ego element, but then to be able to put that to a side and go, this coach is fucking brilliant. I want him looking after the first team. This guy, and then to have a coach behind the scene going, Queiroz was responsible for the way we changed in Europe. This is why we started progressing further.
4-5-1.
Yeah, exactly. Simple tactics. Listened. He obviously listened to him. Also, as well, he put that thing in before Premier League games. We go the day before. We stay in the hotel the night before the game. We don't travel down on the day anymore.
Yeah,
all that.
Driving from your own house.
Exactly. All that kind of. Which seems really basic now, doesn't it? But it was only like just over 10 years ago this was happening.
Do you remember,
for the first time.
I think it was either called Captain's Log or something like that Steve Bruce did for the title win season in '93.
Yeah.
He had like a documentary film crew for
That's
him.
right, yeah.
Now it would be on a GoPro and he'd whip it out of his pocket.
Yeah.
I imagine it was a proper guy in his bedroom like this, filming him.
Massive camera, probably beta cameras.
Just standing by his wardrobe.
Yeah.
Right, roll.
Exactly, yeah.
There was a scene of Brucey getting up the morning of the Blackburn game where we'd won the league already because I think it was an Oldham, was it Oldham and Villa result?
Yes, it was, yeah.
And he's reading a paper in the morning. And he's literally just in bed reading a paper like that. And there must have just been a guy like, fucking filming Steve Bruce in his underpants in the morning. They'd all had that big party the night before.
Yes.
And then the camera crew, this must have been even funnier, the camera crew is in the back seat of his car as he drives down Warwick Road.
Palliser turns up with a black eye.
Allegedly.
Well, he did, he had a black eye, do you remember? I mean, where's that come from? Nobody does. And then I always remember that footage of that game because he says before, have you got any free kicks outside the area, let me take one. He buries it, doesn't he?
He's the only player that hadn't scored that season. That shows you how everyone got in the mix. But you think, in that film, it shows you him driving down to the ground and then his car gets mobbed as he pulls up. And I'm like, who'd fucking parked his car? Because he just sort of stopped, like where the bridge is now. He just sort of stopped there and he gets out and walks off.
Yeah. Because I'd never seen a title winning team at United until that point. I mean, like I was born in '68, September '68, so I was having to go through all the '70s, the '80s. I've missed it all. Having to listen to my dad and all the old farts talk about how great it fucking was, and I'd be there midweek in like 1981 against fucking Ipswich. We'd be getting beat 1-0 at home and be fucking. I mean, thinking, why am I doing this? What the fuck am I coming here every week? This is shit. And it was weird when we won the title, when we knew we'd won it. And I didn't know what to do, and I just went to Old Trafford. But it turned out that that's what about 20,000 people just nobody knew what to do, so I really just went to the ground.
I remember there was a lad that lived around the corner from us, and I could just clearly distinctly remember it. In like '92, there was that tracksuit we had, which was grey with like black flecks all up and down it, and he had that on, and me and him was just sort of like jumping up and down in the street. Yeah, we got it on CFAX. CFAX was the result of the Oldham game. People are going, what the fuck is CFAX? No, it was like Twitter but shit.
There's a Geordie comedian called Gavin Webster who's a Newcastle fan. We talk a lot about football, but from the age, because he's a similar age to me, well, it's the same age as me, near enough. I'm going to be 50 this year. I think he's 50 next year. And about how football and terraces used to be weird, because it'd always just, there'd be people of a certain age who'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There used to be just a bloke would be on any terrace with a radio. He wouldn't even be watching the game here, and then all of a sudden he'd go, Villa 1-0 up. You'd have people go, oh right, that's all.
I wonder if that guy's still there. Like people like I haven't got an app, you dick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But then that's all. It seemed that no matter what terrace you stood in, there was one guy that was his job. He just got Blackburn just scored. Didn't disallowed.
I only had terraces for 3 seasons. I started in 1990.
Right.
So, I had a couple of seasons on the Stretford end with my legs through the and my little Man United gloves on the knuckles. Watching the game through there, probably not even really wanting to be there in all honesty, just like I'm doing this. Dad had disappeared into the ether in the middle of the Stretford end.
That's right.
Popped down at half time. You alright? Yeah, alright, see you in a bit. Alright, okay.
Hey, it was weird, yeah. We used to always go to the Stretford paddock, and then because my dad was worked in he was a builder, ground worker, and if he'd had a extra few hours work that way, we were playing at home, we'd have a treat sometimes. We'd sit in the seats, which were classed as seats above the Stretford end. They were just a fucking bench, that's all they were.
I never saw them.
They were just a bench.
I've seen them on photos, but I never saw them on my
just
own
a bench, that would be a treat. So
how did you see? Because the whole Stretford end was stood up. Was it raised a bit?
Yeah, it was raised. You'd see the game, and even then, he was a bench. You didn't fucking sit down and watch the game.
Because I remember the roof being quite a low-hanging roof.
Yeah.
That must have got in your way a bit.
It didn't actually, because it was the way down. Because you're looking down anyway. You know what I mean? So you used to be able to see just about to the other end, to the scoreboard end. I was weird. So I went from being a kid and then when I got to about 81 and down, I was about 12, 13, I started then standing up with the blokes and further up back into the paddock, and it was always full of comedians, and there was one bloke who used to always watch just before half time, because he'd be crammed in like that, he'd pull out a tin and roll a fag one-handed,
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was. I used to that's all I'd watch for 5 minutes before that. And then I'd still be going down with my dad, but I'd be the big mates going then as well, and we'd always wanted to get into the United Road end because that's where the naughty boys were, or into the scoreboard paddock. The scoreboard paddock, which there was some fucking nutters used to go in there. And then left school 85, and then I did that for a few years. Did that thing which you do as a young man. You go to a lot of away games, and I had about I think about 3 years going to away matches where I don't think I paid for a single train ticket. I don't think anybody did. Or there'd be some games you'd turn up at. I remember like going to places like Villa and that, and being like 18 and 17, 18, you get in the Villa end, and then you just said to one of the staff of the coppers working there and go, I'm a United fan, I've got in the wrong end, and then just march you around the pitch to get to. It was a common tactic you'd fucking do, unless the copper was cruel and go, well, you can stay there and get twatted, mate. But so yeah, it was very basic. So my son now is 25, Sam. So he was born in 92, and so all he's ever seen is the glory years at United.
90.
Yeah,
we had the FA Cup, League Cup,
exactly.
Cup, League Cup.
So. And I've brought him up well. He knows his football. He's one of these. He's not completely biased. He'll appreciate a good player, and that's how I was raised with my dad, to appreciate good players, good teams. Even though it hurts sometimes to say it, sometimes you have to go, fucking hell, that's a good team. And you have to say that about City, and it fucking kills me. But it's destroying me.
Live in denial and just
pretend it's not happening. Yeah, exactly. But when we got dicked by him 6-1 at Old Trafford, I was with my lad. We were sat. And I knew I could see the game, the lack of game management. We got it back to 3-1, and I thought,
and we twisted, didn't we?
We think we can go for it.
Right.
Oh, I'm not going. Oh my god!
Johnny only had 7 shots on goal that game. Scored 6.
Yeah, and they went to 4, and I knew it was. I thought, fuck, this is a fucking ridiculous. So I got up. My lad said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going outside." And he got up to go with me. I went, "No, you're going to stay here. you're going to sit here and going to experience." This will be good for you in the long run. Yeah, that was a grim day, but not as depressing as the 2008, the 50th anniversary of Munich. We got beat 2-1 at home because our performance that day.
That was non-existent. I was in Iraq for that. I watched it on the telly.
Oh, that was. I've never been angry. I don't think the occasion. I think because of the occasion and what it was. I remember walking away from Old Trafford that day, disgusted with that. For the first time in a long time, disgusted with the team. Just thinking,
do you think the occasion did get to them?
Do you know what? It possibly did, and maybe I was being unfair at the time. But I remember.
But yeah, we wanted to.
I remember being so angry.
Best kit we've ever worn as well, by the way.
I remember being so angry that day. It was yeah.
And that, City fans, because you won't have a fucking clue, because it was before you got took over, that's the sort of side you should have been playing. I think Vassell played, Benjani. That's the sort of pish that you lot get served up with, not the likes of De Bruyne and Aguero and that, you fucking lottery-winning scumbags.
Yeah, and I remember when you signed company for him, when he got company, I remember at the time going, how the fuck have they got him?
Yeah, he was a good rated player.
He was already a rated player, and he was one of them. You go, how the fuck did he get hold of him?
They signed a lot of tosh. Remember Elano? Remember they telling him he was going to be amazing. Joe.
Yeah.
Boney's a recent one as well, isn't it? Like Adebayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did sign Adebayor, didn't they? They've had some pish down the years. It's funny when you try and talk about legends. United, you can have probably about 45 minutes just talking about legends at United.
Yeah.
City go, Richard Dunn.
Well, you know what? It's weird. It's weird you saying that. It's like I remember an old bloke who used to go in like years ago. One of the pubs used to go in drinking. This is when this first started televising football, and he was an old fuck, an old red. And you'd ask him, there's some players you go, because he'd watched in the 50s and 60s, and he'd talk about some players. You go, the fuck are you talking about? I've never even heard of them. You know. And then one of his favourite players ever was in the 70s was a right back called Jimmy Nicholl, who was a good player, but you're going, I don't remember. It's not legendary. Oh, I bet one of the best defenders I've ever seen. You go, wow, you must have been watching complete.
Like someone saying Jonathan Spector from the 90s, isn't it? Like,
he was. Jimmy Nicholl was. He was a good player. He was a good solid player, but he's not somebody you go, Why would you pick him as one of your favourite United players?
It's mad at the 70s and 80s, because of the success of the Babes, because of the success of the Trinity in the 60s. The 70s and 80s before Fergie is such a dark period of United history that there was some cult heroes, the likes of Macari and players like that, and
Lulu,
Hill and
Lulu
all that lot.
Skitsmaloo, yeah, he's still got the chippy.
McQueen, these people would be legends if they'd have been Premier League era.
Yeah.
Like, legit legends. And in the 80s, that, I mean, as I said before, I thought he was going to
Ryan
be
Greenough, Jimmy Greenough, Stevie Coppell, fantastic player, Stevie Coppell.
That 85, Ron Atkinson's cup winning sides.
Gordon Hill.
That, McGrath, Robbo, Whiteside, these are all well before my era, but I can imagine that.
Whiteside was a phenomenal player, fantastic player, and the saddest thing what happened to Norman was he had everything in his game but lacked pace because of a botched operation when he was 15 on his knees or something. Now, if he'd had a couple of extra yards of pace, you'd been talking about a genuine world-class player because he had it all. And he was a dirty fucker, and I loved him for that. He was absolutely dirty. There was a game in I think it was 88 or so. Arsenal had not been beat for about 20 odd games, and they came to Old Trafford. Rocastle got sent off, God rest his soul. He got sent off the second half because Norman had just gone round the first half, and I think he kicked every Arsenal player. I think he actually managed to do every Arsenal player. And the second half he came out and he started doing what he could do normally, playing football. And in Miller Park, he just wasn't interested in the physical stuff. Arsenal were just riled up. They just wanted to hurt him, and that's why Rocastle got sent off. We beat him 2-1 that day. Funny, it was just that was a funny day.
Do you think there's a lack of them characters in the game now? Or do you reckon the media has suppressed that?
I think the media suppressed it because you can't get away with it. Don't forget, not even. I remember when was it? Was it about 1990 when they first 91 when all of a sudden you could see all the goals from the game in the first division?
Sure.
I think it was at that time you only saw highlights of about 3 or 4 games if you were lucky. And the big match started on the Sundays. I think that was 88, 89 that started. And then I think it was about 91. I think it was about 91 when all of a sudden you could see goals from all the other games, which was like, fuck, never even seen this before. You couldn't even do that. You used to be sent for as a kid, and there's a lot of blokes like for the pink. You'd be in a queue from the age of 5. Be there,
get it over your fucking hands and it's still wet.
Just waiting because your dad had won it for his pools results. That was it for the pink, and that's all you'd read. And some of them weren't even fully formed football reports because the game hadn't even finished by the time they had to send off the. I think the characters have gone out of the game because it's everything you see and do is noted now, isn't it? So.
Or the trash media that makes news out of what players have. A player liking an Instagram post is newsworthy. Like, apparently. What the fuck is that all about?
Apparently. I wish some players would get off Twitter and get off Instagram. Sometimes I think you've got 20 years max.
But
don't worry
if
about
they're just sitting there doing fuck all.
Exactly. I know. I mean, there's a boredom issue with it as well.
It's not like when they're.
Although I do like Matters.
They're not doing it in the middle of the game.
I do like Matters' Instagram. My barber told me about him last year to follow him, and Matters good because he's not your average footballer, is he? His pictures of him in his cardigan at Irwell Viaducts and all these.
He's mad in it because he'll be taking pictures of like this building.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll be like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
He takes pictures of the maddest shit, but like I think he went to the Lake District and it blew his mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like that. A friend of mine, it was in Chester because he lives in Chester, United fan, and last year he got stopped in the street and it was Ander Herrera and he just said, "Is there anywhere good to see around here? Anything to do?" It was like a Tuesday afternoon.
Chester.
I think that's a.
Go check the Runcorn Bridge out.
I think that's a different cultural approach overseas players, isn't it? Because I don't know. I mean, you go on holiday with a few of your mates. And you go, "There's a nice cathedral around the corner." Like, fuck off, cathedral. We're going to a phone party.
Fucking hell.
So that's why I love Matters' Instagram. I think it's just funny.
But he's not. I mean, he's a lovely bloke, and you want to cuddle him. But he's not I was trying to explain to my son. My son's 11. I was trying to explain to him the drinking culture that United had with Robbo and McGrath. I was talking about McGrath's autobiography actually. Have you read it?
No, I've not read it. He was a phenomenal player, McGrath.
It's the second best autobiography I've ever read.
Really?
Only Tyson's beats it. Tyson's is phenomenal, and McGrath's is second. I've got a copy if you want to have a look at it. Like, it's unbelievably good. When you think of everything he come through in Ireland with the racism that he experienced in Ireland, being chronically shy.
Oh, I'll have to read it.
Goes to the point where he even, I think at Villa, they ended up getting like youth players to pick him up so he wouldn't go to the pub first.
Yeah.
And he would always make the youth player stop and get a couple of cans from an off licence. Couldn't go into training without a couple of cans in him.
Well, I remember just not long before Fergie got rid of him at United, I can't even remember who we played that day, and I'd gone with my dad actually, and I'd left school at that point, and we're leaving. We're cutting through the back of the houses. As you coming out of where the paddock was there, we didn't go over the train line. We're cutting through, trying to get up to the bus. And there's a car park, it's up in a little bit of a car park, and it's Paul McGrath sat in there. He'd not played, he'd been dropped. And he's just sat in the car. And the fans are just walking past, like banging on the car, going, fucking hell, it's Paul McGrath, and he's just, it's like he's not acknowledging anybody. You're just thinking, what the fuck?
Chronically shy and nervous.
What's gone on there? What the fuck's gone on there?
The only time he didn't feel nervous talking to people was when he was in front of 40,000 people on a football pitch.
Phenomenal talent, but yeah, that drinking culture was, but apparently Robbo was the one who'd do it in training, wasn't he? He could go out and have 20 pints and then still be the best player in training the day after, and there were stories, weren't there, that Fergie thought that the other two had just head for the treatment table a bit too often when they were hungover and all that. That's the kind of things I heard at the time. Whether that's true or not, but
it was all of them, wasn't it?
It was all of them. It was
Whiteside,
exactly.
Strachan.
It was the cliques were like, when you do that, you cliques form in a club, and things had to change, didn't they? I mean, it was the 70s and 80s.
All these fucking high ties coming over here eating pasta, not having a pint on a Tuesday. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
I can't even imagine it. They went out Tuesday afternoon and they stayed out till Wednesday night. Yeah. Like right through, sitting here, just keep racking them up, take the empties, rack them up,
and Guinness as well. 20 odd pints of Guinness. Jesus, what's that going to do to you?
57,000 calories.
Yeah, I remember getting. I met Norman Whiteside at be honest, it was a function, and he'd had a couple of drinks.
It's not like him.
It's about 12. No, it's longer. It's about 15 years ago, and I've been doing stand up about 5 years at the time. It was about 15 years ago, and I went over and just said, "Hey, no, I'm sorry to disturb you. Can I get a quick autograph?" I used, had a quick chat about football. He said, "Yeah, this is true. This, I don't know if you remember it. It's funny. I follow him on Twitter. I've never mentioned it to him. I've lost the autograph because I'd love to show it." He said, "Who's it to?" I said, "To Mick." And I go away and I go, "He's wrote to Nick." And I'm going, "Oh fuck." So I've gone back to the table. "Really sorry, it's not Nick. I'm called Mick." And he went, "What?" I went, "Nick." He went, "Oh." So he's wrote something again, and I'm going away. And he's wrote, "Fuck off, Nick."
I think anyone who's met him can 100% believe that shit.
I was like, fucking hell, that's quite, and I wish I had it because I'd love to have posted it. I'd lost it. I was just pissing my sides for the rest of that thing. That's fucking hilarious. That's fantastic. Gutted though that I didn't get a proper autograph.
It's mad how the autograph has got to be a thing of the past now. I think people autograph memorabilia now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's people that are walking around with bits of paper with someone's.
Too many. We Old Trafford back in the day, you'd have kids there from like 10 in the morning on the match day. Open players are getting in early and trying to get hold of them, or any members of staff that were going in there.
Selfies killed the autograph, isn't it?
Yes, it has. Yeah, that is the new autograph, but that's not worth anything, I don't think, is it? There's too many of them. I don't think autographs are worth anything anymore.
No, but a selfie's not really. It's a nice little remembrance of meeting somebody, I think.
Yeah.
It was. I never really got autographs. I've got a lot of autograph stuff. I've got a pair of Giggs autograph Reeboks. I've got a lot of signed shirts and stuff. I've never really got the drill a bit of paper autographed and stuff. I never did.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah, I used to do when I was younger. I used to try and get them, but not something I bother with now. It's just.
When did you ever like whip it out? Like, do you want to see my autograph book?
I never had an autograph book. I was always that prick.
There was kids at school that had like leather autograph books, which was just like a leather bound like a season ticket kind of size, wasn't it? With just blank bits of paper in.
That's right. Yeah.
There you go. That's Lee Martin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there'd be one that you go, who's that? You go, oh, he's got a little bit on Coronation Street.
My dad got me a birthday card once and he took it to the Cliff to get signed. My favourite player in like 92, I think it was my 8th birthday, was Paul Ince.
Right.
Because he was just a fucking maniac.
I
like that. I like maniacs. And he
good
said,
player, Ince. He was a good player.
Fucked his legacy at United by going to Liverpool, didn't he? But
yeah, he did. He did a bit. And you forget when he started, Fergie forced him to play it right back for a while, which he didn't like, and then he eventually got his midfield role. But yeah,
he was phenomenal.
He was a good player.
My dad goes, I had the idea to go to the Cliff on the way home from work. He goes, so I just dived into a post office. So the birthday card he got me is happy birthday, and it's like an horse riding bedroom scene on the front of it, and it's the fucking maddest card ever. And it's got inside like, to Stephen, happy birthday, Paul Ince. It's like, all right, cheers, Dad.
Who else was your favourite player from that era?
I've got a theory, right? So your first game, so I'll test it out with you to see if my theory works. My first game is that your favourite player is within 2 or 3 years of you first going. I think you're in that first couple of years, your opinions of the game are forming. But mind you, I think you've already said Robbo, haven't you?
Well, Robbo, eventually, I was already, so like I said, I was 4 when I first went in, like.
So I'm going to say about 72.
72. So no, so mid 70. Right. To be honest, 76, 77. It was Stevie Coppell was probably my favourite player at the time. And then
that changed with Robbo.
Yeah, Robbo came, and it was like I was there when we signed him. We played Wolves that day. We beat him 5-0, 5-1 at home. Sammy Mack scored a hat trick. Fucking phenomenal. You ever seen that hat trick Sammy Mack scored that day? Fucking phenomenal. Every goal's a screamer. And this is how backward football was at the time, because Sammy Mack played left side in midfield, almost like a winger. The press that day was United signing Robson, because he was a left-footed midfielder. The Sammy McIlroy's position was on the threat.
And it could have been then as well, because it was an 11. Really,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so we signed him on the pitch. Robbo, I remember his fucking stupid perm on the pitch.
How quickly did that go?
Ron Atkinson. I think he had it for a while. And then the rumour went around where we were stood that he was going to get £1,000 a week, and.
How dare he?
Well, the mayhem that caused, blokes going, no fucking way, not having that, nobody gets £1,000 a week. And they were speculating.
Matt Busby fucking resigned as president because we paid $1 million for
How
mad is that?
He was saying, there was the people, you got blokes saying going, I reckon like 250 quid a week. Go, fuck off, who gets? And you could hear him going, who gets 250 quid a week? Just that, the mentality behind it was just like unbelievable. And I think he did sign for about £1,500 a week at the time as well, something like that.
The grabbing bastard.
Yeah, fuck it. Carried us for about 10 years. Absolutely carried that team for 10 years.
And that's what I mean with the dark ages of.
And we had Rennie Moses as well, who was shame about injuries with him, because phenomenal midfield player.
28, 29.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal midfield player.
He's one that I want to get in touch with in a minute, because at the moment, if you look on his Wikipedia, it's like he's coaching an under-20s roller hockey team or something mental like that.
Well, he was in court in Oldham, the magistrates, about 15 years ago, and about 400 United fans turned up to the court. It's true. I've always said Fergie might never have happened at United if under Atkinson he'd ever had a full season out of Moses, Whiteside and Robson in the middle of the park. If they'd had a full season, because
there was that year, was it 85 or 86? We started off like a rocket, didn't we? And then Robbo got injured, McGrath got injured.
We won first 10 games on the trot.
Stapleton as well.
And I'd tell you, who got injured as well, who made a big difference. People forget at the time, was an ex-City player, Peter Barnes. He was playing on the wing for us. He was phenomenal, like the first dozen games. Then he got injured. But yeah, I always think if he kept them three together for a full season. When them three played, we were pretty much unbeatable in the middle of the park. You didn't win any midfield contests with us. We
went off on that season like an absolute flyer. When you look at the results Ron had, I think it was 2/3, 2/4, couple of trophies, European football. You're like, I've actually had Martin Edwards on here.
Right,
I asked him like, on paper, that looks like it's going phenomenal. But he said in the summer of '86, Ron come to him and said, I can't take us any further. And he goes, and we convinced Ron to stay on. And he stayed on. He goes, but once his heart wasn't in it, he goes, he couldn't do it. And that season when we started '86,
right, yeah,
he said, we get to November and we're like, yeah, he's fucking gone. And he goes, they'd been tapping Fergie up essentially.
Yeah.
And the way they managed to tap Fergie up, it's a great story. If you've not seen the Edwards one, just search it on here. He said we had to phone Aberdeen up pretending to be, who did he pretend to be? A player's agent or something like that. One of his current players' agents to get his number from the switchboard at Aberdeen.
Really?
And that was how they got his number, yeah. How fucking bent is that?
Game was though, wasn't it, at the time? There was
a
lot of brown envelopes going on at the time, wasn't there?
I mean, I'm surprised that with the stuff that's gone on with his son as an agent and the different arguments and fallouts Fergie's had, and the fact that he's been in the game since the 70s, where I'm sure the brown envelope thing was the norm, that he's not been dragged into
the tapping up of players. I mean, Brian Clough was legendary for it, turning up at players' houses and tapping them up like that.
Not then, young man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was. I remember at the time. I remember my dad at the time saying there was only one manager in British football at the time that would replace Atkinson if they could get him, was Ferguson, because of what he'd done in Scotland. I mean, smashing an old firm rivalry like that, and not just smashed it, started to dominate with Aberdeen, started to
won a Cup Winners' Cup. We were talking about
exactly,
the Cup Winners' Cup before, how bigger it was. A big competition because there wasn't 97 teams from every country.
It was a great competition because there was some fucking good teams in it. You know, it was because in most of the top leagues in Europe, unless they'd done a double, usually your second or third best team won your cup that year. You know, if they hadn't won the league.
When we won it 91, it was Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona. Yeah.
Ronald Koeman's Barcelona.
That's right.
Was Cruyff manager as well?
Was Cruyff manager at the time?
I'm not sure he was Cruyff. I think I've just imagined that. I don't think Cruyff was the manager. Unless I'm wrong. I think fucking hell. I can see Cruyff in a grey Mac, but I don't know if it's that game or if I've just fucking put two memories together and gone, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
It was a cracking comp. When we won it, I remember it being a big deal when we won it. But the Champions League, initially the Champions League was, when it was the champions, was sound. But when he started adding third, fourth place teams in there, it killed the other competition. The Champions League is the best competition in football, but it did, to get there, it killed what was two other great competitions.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, which it's a bit of a shame. I mean, that the Europa League. We won it last year, but the amount of games in that is fucking ridiculous. It's mental. Trying to make it like a mini Champions League, but it's not got the same impact.
The music shit as well. Do you even know it's got a theme tune?
No.
Oh, well, it has. Like the Champions League theme tune, the Europa League's got one.
Oh.
But no one can tell you, can they?
No, God no. My missus always thought, you know, the Champions League when it goes da-da-da, she always thought for some reason it was always saying Katanga, and so she'd be watching it years ago, she'd be going Katanga, what the fuck are you saying that for?
Right, Mick, tell everybody where they can see you.
Next you can see me at tonight, so this is tomorrow, and this is Monday. Yeah. So last night
you could have seen me.
Last night I was in Lancaster. Tonight's Monday, but it's sold out. It's a charity night I put on at the Comedy Store in Manchester. Kevin Bridges is on as well tonight.
Oh, I like Kevin Bridges.
And Paul Sinner, the Chaser, the Cinema.
I might tap you up for Kevin Bridges'
right,
number, because I bet he'd be a good guest.
Yeah, he loves his football.
Is he Rangers or Celtic?
He's Celtic. And it's part of the reason why he's only just passed his driving test, because he's sick of the taxi drivers up there, particularly the Rangers ones.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He used another word, but yeah, but I can imagine the abuse he gets, which is very funny actually. It's we didn't really talk about the Liverpool game yesterday, because I've made a vow a while ago, because I've appeared on a couple of BT sports programs and some podcasts. I've made a little joke sometimes about Liverpool, and they're the only fans that I've had death threats emailed to me, whereas I've took the piss out of a lot of other clubs on various podcasts and programmes, and I've had a bit of abuse back, but I've not had a death threat emailed to me, so I'm always careful about it. And one was like when Rangers went bust years ago. I did a tweet at the time, said, "Oh, God's finally decided which team he supports in Glasgow." And I thought, oh God, I'm going to get loads of abuse for this. And I did get it from some Rangers fans, but it wasn't death threats, but it was more like, yeah, you fat bastard and all that, it was like that kind of stuff, which is fine, it's fair enough. But yeah, Kevin Bridges is a Celtic fan. Yeah, he'll be a good one. And so he's on tonight at the Comedy Store. And then this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm in Brighton at the Comedia.
That's a long drive.
I'll be getting the train down. I don't drive.
Oh, really?
No, I don't drive. That's why I can't experience the thrills of dogging.
Of all the things I was expecting to come up, man, fucking dogging wasn't one of them.
Exactly, yeah. Keep trying to do it in taxis, they don't like it.
And you've got a podcast that's out there as well, haven't you?
I have got a podcast that's out there, and I'm not sure what it's called, because
Bunker Radio.
It was called Bunker Radio, but there is something similar called Bunker Radio. Anyway, it's Mick Ferry Bunker Radio, and we've did one series with 6 episodes. I'm hoping to record another one shortly.
Was that written, or was that like you had a theme and improv?
It was a theme, it was all improv. So have you listened to any of them? Yeah. See, I haven't. Anything that I ever record or ever do, I won't watch this. I just don't. I never have done. So because I've got a bit of a cold at the minute, so I'm concerned about the way I'm talking.
I think the echo in here is probably going to fuck us up anyway.
Right, okay, yeah.
I'm going to try and fix a little bit of it, but I apologise if there is an echo. There's going to be an echo.
Yeah, put some egg boxes on the wall. That's what apparently you do. But I'm worried about when I've got a cold, because I'm in showbiz. People think I've done cocaine. They don't. I'm too old for cocaine. I'm 50. God, it'd kill me. Don't do cocaine.
You're looking at hopefully doing another series of the Bunker Radio.
Yeah, another series.
It's like a fictional live show, really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So the concept is, it's the end of the world. We're in a bunker. It's 100 days since some event has happened.
How did Manchester survive?
Did all right, actually. Did all right. Yeah, the United trophy room's still there.
It was so big, you see.
That's the problem. It was so big.
Damaged, but still.
Well, yeah. In fact, about
City shelf was
about 1,000 supporters survived by hiding in the silverware. Deflected the radiation. No, man, I don't know. But yeah, that's the idea of Manchester. So the idea is the podcast is it's the end of the world, and we're in a bunker. We're trying to form a new society. It's my bunker. It quickly turns into a dictatorship, which you need. I'm a big fan of dictators. And I've got a future law minister and an ISM minister. And then we find a couple of stragglers who are guests, who are outside, survivors, and we sort of interview them about what they're going to do afterwards, and then we vote, and then it's recorded with a live audience who are part of the show, and then we vote on whether they can stay in or not. And I think out of 12 guests, only 2 survived, and then the others are taken outside and shot, because you don't want them telling people where your bunker is. I think the ones that we voted in was one because he knew how to brew beer, which is fine.
It's a valid skill.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the other one was.
You only have so many electricians and doctors, can't you?
Well, I kept trying to tell people, this is it. You want a good society. Well, the ones who should be paid the most are the ones who deal with the rubbish, the ones who do the sewage works. Them are the ones that you should pay the most.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's why plumbers get a lot of dough.
Well, that's what you need to pay the most. If you want to do around doing nothing, you don't get paid for it. But if you want to do the shit jobs, you should get more money than you should get paid more for sorting out a collapsed sewer than a fucking supermodel gets. For fuck's sake, surely. You know what I mean?
Well, if you lined up 100 people and said, "Do you mind if I take your picture?"
Yeah.
They go, "Yeah, sure." But if you lined up 100 people and said, "Do you mind getting fully gimped up and jumping in there and pulling out all them shit nappies and stuff like that?" You're not going to get.
Well, the word gimp with 100 people, there might be a few who get the wrong. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'd rather have somebody who can unblock us. So I'd rather they were given 100 grand a year than somebody who's just pretty.
It's mad, isn't it, how the demand of certain jobs and stuff can lead to that, because there are some trades, because they're so scarce that people do them, that earn crazy money.
Yeah.
Madness. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go give Guy a follow on Twitter. Check out his tour dates as and when, and if the podcast comes back, we'll blast the shit
out of it. Give it a plug. Yeah, and good luck with this as well, and don't be nasty with the comments. You probably are. I've got a beard, I'm aware I look like Father Christmas, blah, 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 blah. It's a dispute against Wilkinson Sword because the wankers charge too much for the blades.
So there you go. Right, thanks for watching. We will see you in the next one. Laters.